Hey everyone, I've got a Yu-Gi-Oh deck video for today. This time it is going to be on Armed Dragons. So, oh dear. Okay. These are new sleeves, so they're a little bit slippery. I guess to start off, we'll just start with the main guy of the deck. Armed Dragon Thunder level 10. If this card were special summoned by the effect of an armed dragon monster, it gains the following effects based on its attack. If it has 1+ more attack, its name becomes the original armed dragon level 10. 10 times more attack. No, not 10 times more. 10+ more attack. Control of it cannot switch. 100 more attack. Cannot be destroyed by battle. 1,000 more attack. Once per opponent's turn, quick effect, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one other card on the field, destroy it. And if you do, this card gains 1,000 attack and 10,000 more attack. Once per turn, you can destroy all other cards on the field. So, pretty cool. Unfortunately, when I did use this deck the other day, I didn't really get that effect, or really any of them off all that often, but hey. He's still 3,000 point attacker, that's pretty good. Of course, next up, we've got the Armed Dragon level 3s. Armed Dragon Thunder level 3. This card becomes the original Armed Dragon level 3 while it's in the field or graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects of Armed Dragon Thunder level 3 once per turn. You can send one monster from your hand to the graveyard. Send this card from your field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one level 5 or lower Armed Dragon monster from your hand or deck. If this card was sent to the graveyard to activate a dragon monster effect, you may draw one card. Alright. Pretty good. Of course, we've got Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. It's a pretty good card. I've had it in a lot of decks. I probably don't need to explain it by this point. Artillery Catapult Turtle. You contribute one monster, special summon one Gaia the Fierce Knight monster, one level 5 dragon monster from your hand or deck. You can only use this effect of the card once per turn. Pretty nice. This is the Armed Dragon level 5. It has the same effect as the level 3. However, of course, it is to upgrade it to the level 7. And when it is sent for a dragon monster's effect, I can add one level 5 or higher wind dragon monster from my deck to my hand instead. Which is pretty nice. And then, of course, in turn, the level 7 has the same effect as the 3 and 5. The only difference in it is that with its effect, when it's sent for a dragon effect, you can add one Armed Dragon card from your deck to your hand. Pretty nice. Next up is Pile Armed Dragon. You can send one other Wind Dragon monster or another level 7 or higher dragon monster from your hand to the graveyard. Special summon this card. You can send one Armed Dragon monster from your hand, deck to the graveyard, except itself. Then target one face-up monster you control. That targeted monster gains attack equal to the level of the monster sent to the graveyard, times 300, until the end of this turn. Also, you can only attack with that one monster this turn. You can only use each effect of Pile Armed Dragon once per turn. Next up is Tempest Dragon Ruler of Storms. You can discard this card and one wind monster to the graveyard. Add one dragon monster from your deck to your hand. You can banish a total of 2 wind and or dragon monsters from your hand and or graveyard, special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. During your opponent's end phase, if you control this special summon card, return it to the hand. If this card is banished, you can add one Wind Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use one Tempest Dragon Ruler of Storms effect once per turn and only once that turn. Alright. Next up is the original Armed Dragon level 10. Its effect is cannot be normal or special summoned. Must be special summoned from your hand by attributing one Armed Dragon level 7. You can send one card from your hand to the graveyard. Destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. Pretty nice. We've got a few ways to get this thing out. And of course, last up, we've got Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing one face-up dragon monster you control once per turn. You can special summon one dragon-type monster from your hand or graveyard, except Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon, and it's been errated to only work once per turn. Okay, next up, we've got the spells. This is Return of the Dragon Lord. You can use this to target one level 7 or 8 dragon-type monster in your graveyard, special summon it. If a dragon-type monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Very nice. Next up is Pot of Extravagance. At the start of your main phase, banish 3 or 6 random face-down cards from your extra deck. Face down. Draw one card for each 3 cards banished. For the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you cannot draw any cards by card effects. So that lets you get more cards. It's pretty good. And while you do use the extra deck in this, it's not that important, so you can put up with getting rid of some of it, especially since for the main monsters we run multiples. One Monster Reborn, pretty simple. You can bring back any monster from any graveyard. Armed Dragon Blitz. Target one Armed Dragon monster you control. Take one monster with the same name from your deck or graveyard. Either add it to your hand or special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions, but it can't attack directly. You can only activate one Armed Dragon Blitz per turn. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this card, except dragon monsters, which is fine. Armed Dragon Flash. This lets you special summon a level 3 Armed Dragon monster from your deck in defense position, and you can only use it once per turn. Next up, we've got Armed Dragon Lightning. If an Armed Dragon monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send this card to the graveyard instead. You can target one Armed Dragon monster you control, then activate one of these effects. It gains attack equal to its level times 100, even if this card leaves the field, or add one Armed Dragon monster with an equal or lower level than it from your graveyard to your hand, and you can only use this effect of Armed Dragon Lightning once per turn. Very nice. Onto the traps, we've got 2 Armed Dragon Thunderbolt. Target one Armed Dragon monster you control. It gains 1,000 attack for each Armed Dragon monster in your graveyard with an equal or lower level than it, and with different names from each other. Also, for the rest of this turn, your opponent takes no battle damage from its attacks. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Armed Dragon spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use one Armed Dragon Thunderbolt effect per turn, and only once that turn. Then, of course, the final card in the main deck is Infinite Impermanence. Again, a pretty good card. And pretty generic, and I've explained it before, so I won't go over it again. For the extra deck, well, before we go over this guy, we'll go over its other form. In Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon, this is probably one of my favorite cards. To make this, you need 2 level 7 dragon-type monsters. If you can pendulum summon in level 7s, that effect's not going to be used here, so I'll ignore it. If this card is Xyz summoned by using an Xyz monster as material, don't need to go over that too. Really, it's just here for material to go into this guy, Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon Overlord. And this card's effect matters. 2 level 7 monsters. You can also Xyz summon this card using a Rebellion Xyz monster you control as a material. Transfer its materials to this card. And then if you can Pendulum summon level 7s, you can Pendulum summon this as well. This card that was Xyz summoned using a rank 7 Xyz monster as its material can make up to 3 attacks during each battle phase. If this card in the main monster zone is destroyed, you can place it in the Pendulum zone. We don't need to go over that. You can only special summon Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon Overlord once per turn. Alright, so that's those ones over with. Probably the next best one to go with is Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. You need 2 level 7 monsters for this. It cannot be destroyed by card effects while it has Xyz materials. While this card has Xyz materials, each time your opponent activates a card or effect, inflict 500 damage to your opponent immediately after it resolves. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 Red Eyes normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You won't use that in this deck. It's only here because it is a rank 7. Next up, we've got Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack. Again, 2 level 7s. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card. Special summon up to 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens. They're Machine, Wind, level 3s, with 0 attack and defense. While you control a token, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Once per turn, you contribute 1 Mecha Phantom Beast monster. That includes the tokens. Then you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. This card can't attack during the turn you activate that effect. Next up, we've got Big Eye. Again, 2 level 7s. Once per turn, you can detach an Xyz material from this card. Then target 1 monster your opponent controls. Take control of that monster. This card can't attack the turn you activate that effect. Pretty good. Next up is Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. This is a rank 10, so you need 2 level 10s to make this. Once per turn, you can detach a material from this card, inflict 2,000 battle effect damage to your opponent. Pretty nice. Next up is the Link monster Great Fly. You need 2 winds to make this. All wind monsters on the field gain 500 attack, and all earth lose 400. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 wind monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use that effect of Great Fly once per turn. Next up is Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. You need 2 dragon monsters to make this Link monster. Once per opponent's turn, if this card is in the extra monster zone quick effect, you can contribute 1 monster from your hand or field. Return 1 face-up card on the field to the hand. If this was the card tributed, special summon 1 dragon-type monster from your hand or deck, but make its attack and defense 0. You can only use this effect of Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres once per turn. And then next up, this card isn't really important, as I've pretty much banished it every time with Pot of Prosperity. It's just here to fill extra deck space, honestly. This could be anything. Okay, and that is it for my Armed Dragon deck. It's pretty fun. I wouldn't say it is competitive at all, although it did give a few decks a bit of a challenge, although that might be more because people are not familiar with the deck, but hey, it's fun, and that's really all that matters. And, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely enjoyed getting these cards and playing with them. So, who knows? Maybe some other people will decide to get this deck as well.